Alright, here is the final episode of the upgrades that I've done to the Millennium Falcon. All the changes that have been done basically took a little bit more time than I thought it was going to take, but there's a couple things that I really wanted and needed on this just to make this work. There are still 2 or 3 things that I need to do, but I'm not going to go ahead and worry about putting that on this video because they're simple changes. But let's just talk about it. We could start basically at the back of the boat. So the next thing that needs to be done, this needs to be downsized. This is a 6-gallon tank, and we really only need a 3, probably even a 2, because I never fill this up. So that's way too much gas to be carrying around, way too much weight on the boat. So we're going to downsize that. And if you look here, I've installed the bilge pump and then wired it so that it goes up through this side and then down under the bench. And then the bilge pump is connected to that switch box over there. And it does work. I fully tested it. So we're not sinking anytime soon. The other thing that I've done here, I got a new fish finder, and I mounted this onto the back using the transom mount. Made sure that it was flush. The other one wasn't flush, so it wasn't working the right way, but this one should work. Basically, the fish finder that I have, just running through here, I got a Garmin fish finder. Pretty happy about that. It's a really cool little fish finder. I like the color of it a lot better than the Lowrance that I had. The Lowrance was gifted to me by a good friend of mine, Ken Miller. Shout out to Ken Miller. Got to come and pick you up and take you fishing in the Falcon soon. But yeah, basically this is how the fish finder is going to look. I mean, it looks normal like other fish finders will. See if I can find the simulator. I'm going to turn the simulator on just so that we can get some look at how this is going to work. But basically, you've got quite a few features on this, including waypoint navigation. It's got the you can do the split frequency so that you can see 2 different frequencies at the same time. Really good color on this. Really happy about this fish finder. But the traditional looks like that. Really cool. So now I can do my navigation as well as finding fish, and I think this one will work a little bit better. The other one wasn't as good as picking up fish, but works really well. The other thing that I did was a simple upgrade, but I basically got myself a new clip for the kill switch on this motor. The other one that I was using was kind of dangerous, so there's some safety features that I've done. The other kill switch was really hard to come out, so if I fell out the boat, chances are that I might not cut the engine off. So I was able to fix that. And then I need to mount this down. Basically, this is the bilge pump and the hose. So if any water gets in there, it's going to pump it out. And I'm going to cut this to about right here so that it just pumps straight down. So we're really good. The other thing that I did, move my seat to the left, or the right, excuse me, because what I noticed was when I have the motor centered, I had a real hard time like turning around, driving, and then actually seeing the depth finder at the same time. So I just moved this to the left. Should make it a lot easier. More safety features. Notice I got a fire extinguisher. Always good to have. It's mounted in there, so we're good to go. Still got my anchor system. This was an old fish rod holder, and basically what I did was see if I can show you. I ended up cutting this out so that we could sit this oar, where it needs to be. My brother-in-law will attest that it was just kind of like all over the place. I used to store it up front and everything. So it was just too much. I showed you in a previous video that I did add new carpeting to the floors. You see the LED lights that are under there. It's daytime, so it's not really going to show you what I want to show you, but the good thing was I was able to test it out. Those things are really nice. Really nice. I tested it last night. Really nice at night. They light up the entire cabin in here, front and back. And I had it so that the switches where I would have a front and a back, I actually just changed it so that it turns them all on. I mean, what's the point of having two there? This is my bilge pump switch. You should be able to hear it. I don't know if you can hear that noise. There's a truck that's doing something out here. There's my bilge pump switch. Got myself a spot for chargers. It actually does charge my phone, do all that good stuff. And it might not look like I did a good job with the wiring, but boy, I marine treated these and shrink wrapped them, and there's not going to be any type of sparks or fires with these things. So reinforced these seats as well. As you can see, I basically notched some screws in here. These things don't hold as well as you think they would. They clamp on, but if you do any weird movement, you're going to go flying backwards. So I mounted these down so you can lean, rock, do whatever you want to do in these, and you won't have any trouble. Change the view a little bit. I also did this because I'm going to mount the trolling motor. I'll show you where I'm going to mount it. One more piece that I'm getting, it's a little mount for the trolling motor that's going to go right here. My battery is just basically going to sit in the box up here. I already, kind of like put it down in there. It fits real well. So my trolling motor is going to sit there. And what I'm going to do on my trolling motor is put the transducer for my old fish finder, which is the Lowrance. I'm going to put that on the actual trolling motor. So when I'm sitting up here, if I'm by myself or if I have somebody with me, then it'll be really cool because that person can, operate the trolling motor, let us know where fish are while I fish out of this spot. So we got two spots to fish out of, or if I get bored, I just use the main motor to get to where I want to go, switch seats, hop up to the trolling motor. I'm sitting up here nice and comfortable. I did add these in. They were in the back, but I basically put them up front. They're just basically rod holders, PVC pipe rod holders. So it's really cool, like if you're baiting your fish, you're baiting your line, you can just mount it in there and stay seated. You don't have to worry about holding it or anything like that. Really, really convenient. So I have two that are right there and two that are right here. Talked about the battery boxes. This is nice and clean. I actually reinforced this. Got a little bit, I had to drill into the metal, so I've got some vacuuming to do. But I reinforced this. You can see these two screws that are here. Basically what I did was, I don't know if you can see it, but I put a 2x4 down there. So whoever's standing here is super solid. Super solid. You're not going anywhere. I mean, it was, it was solid before, but I just wanted to make sure that we're safety first again. And, my ropes up here. And of course, my nav lights. There's all my junk in the background, but my nav lights, my brother-in-law Dana hooked it up. Got myself some nav lights. So, and they still work. So basically I can use these and, make them solid when we're out at night, which, we got to go do soon. We got to go do some night fishing. I don't know if we're going to get any top water. It's too cold, I think, for top water right now, but you never know. Never know what Hennessy will provide. Lake Hennessy will provide. So we're all set, ready to go. Ready and raring to go. Deck lights in effect. Bilge pump in effect. Deck lights in effect. Deck lights in effect. I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy with, just this little setup. Mind you, it's, I was going to go with the casting deck and everything, but I think what that ended up doing was minimizing my opportunity to fish with other people. And I think that's really important is, you know, spending a day with somebody and still having the opportunity to have a boat that you could use when you're by yourself. So one thing that I may do in the future, I may cover this area to here, you know, and then put a hatch on it so that it just covers the battery. I do have to get a better battery box. My old one got stolen, so I just have one that, you know, is kind of a sit-in battery box, but you know, it doesn't have any covering on it, so I'm a little worried about water getting, you know, splashed onto it. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, I could put a top on it and it shouldn't be a problem. I don't think we're going to be shorting anything out. And the only thing that's going to be running to that battery is the trolling motor and that fish finder right there. So we're good to go. Millennium Falcon in effect, 10-minute video, all done, but really happy with how this came out. Looks really good. All right now.